I'm the bat coordinator for Wires Illawarra. I look after flying foxes, injured flying foxes and orphans. We foster the babies. If they drop from their mothers or the mothers are killed, we take in the babies. It's a bit like having a human baby, only it's nicer because they grow up faster. So we have them for 3 months. By the time they're ready to leave, you know, the foster mums are just about in tears by then. They've got a distinct personality and they're very affectionate.
The quarry is a hard rock operation. The process starts with the drill and blast. That then gets fed through the plant and goes through a series of crushing and screening, and as a result we get different products at the end. So different size aggregates that get used in either asphalt, concrete, that type of thing in the construction industry.
There is a flying fox colony within Borrell's land over in back direction there in a patch of rainforest. Most years flying foxes arrive there and it's a roosting colony, and anything up to 1,000 or so can spend the summer in the region living in that area, and then they travel out by night to feed.
There's a lot of pressure and demand on the remaining bushland around this area, not only from industry but from urban growth. So Borrell recognises that we've got quite a good resource not only in the rock but also in the vegetation that we hold as well.
They don't appear instantly compatible, mining and extractive industries and conservation, but in this instance the fact of the quarry's presence here over time has led to the continued presence of these large patches of native vegetation and very important native vegetation at that. So that one's endangered nationally. Looking healthy. The buffer lands around the quarries have held at bay agriculture and particularly held at bay urban development, which is fast encroaching on areas to the north.
The Stockyard Mountain Dunmore Hills corridor runs from the escarpment to the ocean down at Killalea. It's the most intact of the corridors that we have in the Illawarra. There are some really nice patches of vegetation throughout that area and some large patches, particularly here in the Dunmore Hills. Borrell and a number of other quarry companies in this area are the custodians of some of those patches of vegetation, and by working with those landholders to improve the vegetation on their properties and link them to vegetation outside of their areas and onto private land in the surrounding areas, we can really help to re-establish that link of native vegetation between the escarpment and the sea.
We're currently in our voluntary conservation agreement area. So in this area it's an offset for part of the quarrying operations that we've got at Dunmore Quarry. We've got a couple of vegetation communities that are quite significant to our local area within this VCA. We've got the Melaleuca armillaris tall shrubland, Illawarra lowlands grassy woodland and Illawarra subtropical rainforest.
The subtropical rainforest would have once been very extensive across this area, and as such it would have been easy for plants to generate and pollinate across fairly short distances, but now we've got large distances between patches that are remaining. Animals that can move seed those large distances easily are vitally important to the continued health of those patches of rainforest. And the grey-headed flying foxes, which will quite easily move up to 40 kilometres in a night to feed, are able to do that job, whereas all the other, or a lot of the other species that previously were able to do that job have been lost.
The grey-headed flying fox feeds on 200 species of plants. And because it's nomadic and can travel, it's spreading pollen, nectar and seeds over vast areas. So it's a two-way thing. We need the vegetation for the flying foxes, and we need the flying foxes for the forests. One came in with a baby and one gave birth in the cage. They were both caught in fruit netting. They're going into a big cage so that they can get some distance flying to build up their muscle tone.
We've got some colonies that are around here in the Dunmore Jamberoo area, so they use this cage as the means to get those flying foxes back into those colonies and back into the wild again after they've come in from injuries.
There are very few, really good release facilities, so we share it with another group from the Shoalhaven, so it's pretty valuable. They'll be there for 3 weeks roundabout, depending how they're going, given a test flight, and then they'll be released.
Getting involved with the Catchment Management Authority and OEH has really opened up some good avenues for the quarry. We're able to tap into some of the expertise of the CMA and personnel at the OEH. It's helped a lot with our land management strategies. This will remain as it is, set aside for preservation.
In a fragmented urbanised landscape such as the Illawarra, there needs to be links of vegetation so that wildlife of all sizes, from ants to butterflies to swamp wallabies to flying foxes, can move across the landscape and find the things that they need to exist. So the work that we do with a large landholder like Boral in securing these remnant patches of vegetation and being able to link them up through the Illawarra landscape to the escarpment and down to the sea means that there are opportunities for wildlife to continue to exist within this very fragmented landscape.